It's fine. Hey, game, give me my cursor back. Give me my cursor back. Spotify, I'm gonna need you to go. Keisha is now playing Darkwood. Lamia is a little heater. It's true. Okay, let me... It's not even 2 minutes. It's not even been 2 minutes and I'm already a little chilly. I do have a sweater around here. A thin sweater that I can wear. I don't want to close the windows just yet because it's really nice out and like the more often I can just like air out the upstairs the better. So now you get sweater cache. It's true, I would get gooped on. Alright. So I have been playing on my own time. Is that too loud? Should I turn it down? You know what? No. I'm not gonna turn it down. Because you need to hear all the creepy sounds that I hear. Which, I'm gonna turn up my dang headphones. No, but genuinely, if it is too loud, let me know. Like I said, I've been playing on my own time. Also, the alpha days. Oh, dang. I'm only 9 days in my current save. The plan was to start a new one. Okay, cool. As long as it's not like blasting y'all out. It's gonna get a little loud at some point, but a lot of this game is just about subtle sounds and it's important that you hear them. I think it's important that you hear them. So I guess for people who haven't been hearing my play-by-play, fruity, new save? Do you want me to continue from the one that I've been on? I don't mind doing a new save. If you're interested in the story, that's definitely what I would recommend. New save? Cool. Not an issue. Not an issue at all. I'm gonna say no to the Indiegogo content. Skip the prologue. No. We'll do normal difficulty because I want this to be playable and it's already difficult enough as is. Cool. I did on the last on the other save I did as well. My immersion must remain intact. Cyril. Hello. Welcome. How's it going, friend? How are you doing? Hello, friend. We are getting spooked over here. Are you ready? Are you cuddled up? Get a blanket, get a drink, grab peaches in Cyril's case. Cuddle up, it's gonna be a fucking ride. We're spooping! Yeah, we, like Travis just said, we got an ending in, Ender Lily, so we're starting a new game. Also, I missed that first little bit of text, but that's fine. It's fine. As if I was responsible for the spreading of disease. As if I were the source of all the misery plaguing this land. Sup, Legis? I have nowhere to hide from them, nowhere to run. What's closed us off from the outside world. I'll get my thoughts on the ending of Ender Lilies in a second. We're all doomed. Doomed. No, it was the worst ending, I think, that we could have gotten, but it was still a good ending. Kind of sad. But there are apparently 5 endings in total for Ender Lily. So I'm definitely going to be playing for some of the better ones later on. Just in my own time, but it was just... It was very good. Lee just knows what's up. I don't think there's any point in me grabbing any of these things. We'll just continue on with the dang thing. Generator's almost out of juice. I need to find a full gasoline can. Saw a broken tractor to the east. Maybe I can find some gasoline there. Cages. This time, they're empty. I'd rather not open it. I spent too much time to lock him in there. Yeah? Are you sure? Lock is jammed a long time ago. Never mind, I used to keep useless junk in there anyway. What do you mean what? It's perfectly normal situation. I've just woken up. The radio has been silent for years, although sometimes I think I can hear voices through the static. You can move the stuff around. It's great. Best not enter this room right now. So Darkwood Wild. My tools. They haven't been sterilized for years. Local patients can't be helped anyway. Who was room? Just friend. Friend was room. Photo. We're not gonna comment on it? My old useless medical bag. A camera? I don't remember seeing that stuff. I think I left the key in my wardrobe. Oh. That's not a wardrobe. What am I doing? Doctor is ready to quit their job. No one needs a doctor anymore. Useless profession, honestly. My medical book. Ah, yes. Medical items. Yeah, none of this matters. So I often do this thing where I close the door before I've left the room. So then I just, like, end up locking myself in the room that I am trying to get out of. But that's fine. Oh, doggo. My dog. I don't think he's gonna make it. Should end his suffering. Absolutely. Always shutting myself in the room that I'm trying to leave. Always. Gotta pick up the axe. Gotta equip the axe. I am a monster now. Yeah. Just a heads up. I'm not great at this game. However, it's fine. Give me that bone. I just need that bone for no reason other than needing that bone. Yeah, my understanding of the game's still very slim. Bad sounds. But it's fine. Like I said, I've only played up to day 9 in my current run, which is further than I got the first time. We are trying to puzzle through it together. It's been an adventure. Nah, it's been very good. I am super enjoying this game, so I'm really excited to be able to, like, share it with everyone else as well. Just know it is, I'd say it's, like, fairly, like, slow-paced at first. I normally get 3 deaths and permadeath. Do you? That's a problem. I think I've died twice? Oh. I might not have 2 full deaths left. It's on hard? Okay, cool. I was gonna say, if that's normal. Good to know, good to know. This game is called Darkwood. It is, would you call this an isometric game? Is that what that is? Top-down spooky game where you gotta survive in the woods. We've only just started. So you haven't missed much of anything. Oh man. Well, welcome, Jody. Hi, hi, hi. I think this one's still breathing. Not for long. Not for long, motherfucker! Won't let me. Gotta take his key. But super weird, super wild. It's weird. It's hard to explain fully what it is. Normal is unlimited? Okay. Phew. It's a lot of pressure taken off of me. Since he managed to sneak in here, he must know how to get out. Burn the tree. That's not ominous. But that's... is of no importance. Sir, don't shoot me up with random stuff, please. Need to get out of this accursed forest! Hear me, rat? Yes, sir. Show me how and I will let you go. This game is extremely brutal, and can be pretty intense. But if you need them, we do have the content warnings available. As always. Thank you, Travis. Calling me to return home. Yeah, only mentioning it because, like I said, like, it can be pretty graphic at times. It's so good, though. Show me where! Yikes. Hi, Bean. He angry. Kill you like a dog if I have to. Okay. Yeah, definitely worth looking through. Not the most horrific game we've played on the channel. But it can be a lot at times. Fucker stole my key! Dread and tension building is an accurate description. Don't have any lockpicks. Do I have anything on me at the moment? I do not. I got some stuff now, though. You want to make a lockpick? Hey, kid. You want to commit some arson? Search this container by picking its lock. Give me that shovel. And that flashlight. Let's go. Item is no longer usable. Please? Not me already freaking out. We'll just push that out of the way. It's fine. Generator on. Metal table with leather belt strapped on. I know what happens and I'm still just like freaking out. Oh no. Alright, let's equip the gas can, fill up the generator. Please and thank you. Tank is empty. Alright, but hear me out. Gas can was rough. Corpse has 2 dials instead of eyes. His mouth is wide open and I can hear a distorted voice, barely distinguishable from the radio static. Seems completely normal and fine. 4892. That's fairly just. I appreciate you stopping in and saying hi, though. Also, thank you, Bunno. It was too hot for my sweater, but it's too cold for a tank top. 4892. Who's there? Please. Sir! Bad swings. I'm just gonna beat the shit out of this man with a table, like a table leg. It's fine. Yeah, you give me that plastic chick. How do you want to get out now? You think you can manage all by yourself? Hear it? Don't have anything to repair it with. Perfect, beautiful. Sometimes you do need to do a murder to get some person's toys. It's fine. This is also fine. Don't even worry about it. I managed to get a couple of hits in this time. First time I went through it, I got immediately because I panicked. Me and Shadow Monsters, they don't pair well. You know how it is. First time. First time. Thanks. It's the Octomug. One of the Octomugs. From my understanding, you hide in the corner a lot. It's all good. No judgments. I understand. Corners are safe. Nothing can get you from behind. You know, except Shadow Monsters. It's the go-to move. My house looks different now. This is weird. I mean, I understand, but everything sounds goopy. There are mushrooms out there. Okay. Alright. So we start out. In this spooky house. I'm gonna... It's bad sound, and I apologize. I'm not sorry enough to not do it, though. Don't mind me while I just immediately start setting up my safe house. I need things in the proper order. Not me doing the exact same thing that I did in the other game. It's very goopy. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter at the moment. Is it? No, I've got protection from the night. General understanding of the gameplay. My house is different. My house is different. It is upside down now. Compared to to what it was like, to what it's like in my other game. It is upside down. It's fine. So it is randomly generated to an extent. All the assets are the same, but you get... But things are, like, turned around. Things are put in different locations. The road home. The top. It took me a gross amount of time to realize that not all the trees were cut down. Because when you hover over them, it gets rid of the top-down view. Well, not fully, but it removes the top of the tree so that you can see what's happening. But I was like, oh wow, why is this forest just flat? It's not. Yeah, a lot of stuff seems fully random. Hold on. Alright, so we got an oven. Pleasant warmth is emanating from the oven. I can sense a strange yet familiar scent. It's the smell of the protective substance, which gives me relative safety after dark. The vapors rising from the huge cauldron are distributed all over the house via long pipes. As long as I remain inside my hideout, I have a chance of surviving the night. It does look very goopy. This is fine. This is all fine stuff to breathe in. There's nothing dangerous about this situation at all. Let's examine the oven. When I arrived here a couple of days ago, the oven was basically prepared. I just needed to light it up to ensure my safety at night. Sorry, hiccups. This cottage must have been one of our hideouts. The inhabitants of these woods don't need to inhale this revolting gas. Look at the weird bottle. Label on the bottle says, staying out of the reach of the protective substance after nightfall results in immediate death in 99 out of 100 cases. It is advised to evenly spread the gas inside the sleeping area. Warning. Even a properly prepared substance does not guarantee 100% safety. Remain vigilant. It is recommended to stay in well-lit indoor areas in order to minimize the risk. Look at the weird bottle. No, that's what we just looked at. So then look inside the pot. Small empty cast iron pot. I haven't used it yet. Haven't felt any hunger or thirst since the accident a few days ago. Can't stop thinking about one thing. These mushrooms. These red, pulsating mushrooms look so tasty. Maybe this pot will prove useful after all. Cook. Cook. Yeah, that's about as far as we understand about what's happening. Is don't go out at night, don't die, eat some mushrooms, extract some essence, and that's about it. It's all fine and fine. It's all fine. So I am going to, because I haven't looked in here yet, I'm going to take the rope. Night is mostly awful. Let's be real. It's mostly just very bad. Mushroom book. Title reads, the use of mushrooms in the household. Okay. Oh, I dropped a thing. Give me the rope. I like having a better understanding of how the game functions when I first start out. Yesterday I barricaded one of the windows. If I want to stay here for some time, I should do the same with the other windows. I would like to drag this into the corner. With all of its bad sounds. In the corner you go. Yeah. We like knowing that we can put stuff in here. I don't need the nails with me. The rope can stay. What is happening over there, kitten? Can't do anything with that. Can't do anything with that. And I'll put... I'm basically just dumping everything out of my inventory right now. Not necessarily the most wise of moves, but that's okay. Let's harvest some mushrooms. Let's get rid of the goop. Y'all want some goop? Empty. I need 4 planks to fix the well. Nothing in the saw at the moment. I don't know the code for that. It's true. Don't walk on the mushrooms. Any of the mushrooms, they will hurt you. It's not great. But I can use them in my dang oven. Generators have to empty. It contains enough gasoline for one more night. I should find a full can in the house above the underground entrance. Give me the rags. Give me the torch. I didn't mean to drop it. But I did. Some notes. Turn on the generator before dark. Hiding in the shadows won't do you any good. They're coming either way. Generator is off at the moment. Great. I don't know why I bother closing this door. Shift click warps it to my... Oh my god, I wish I had known that. Hi! I have nothing for you, ma'ams. Wow, this is vastly different than my other map. I need to go south. I need to start doing shift click. Now that I know it's a thing, I just didn't think to try. I have been slowly clicking everything into my inventory this whole time. Because that's the kind of human I am. Lamia, you gotta stop. There's nothing there for you. Hey! Hold on a second. Stop! All done. No! You don't get to act all pitiful and sad as soon as I catch you doing something you're not supposed to be doing. No, all done. She screamed. See, mother, I crave violence. Found the underground entrance. I just want to see if there's anything I can pick up. I would like items, preferably. Maybe. Oh my god, that's so nice! This is why I freaked out anytime I went to go grab something, because I would always miss the inventory and then just drop it on the ground. Give me your parts, Bear Trap. This is the house. I'll find the entrance to the underground here. Give me the Bear Trap. Your dogs. And then your mushrooms. Goopy mushrooms. I almost stepped on a bear trap. Close. Not me completely ignoring all of the hazards around me. Give me that bread. I found cigarettes. Genuinely, I have stood on most of the traps because I'm very bad at paying attention to things. Trying to be better. You need to cut it out, Lamia. I tried to click on it! Entrance to the underground tunnels. Bad. I was gonna say, I thought I had a torch with me. Tunnel walls were crushed by enormous roots. I don't have anything to dig that up with. Automotive magazine, this year's issue. It's 1987, in case we were wondering. You know what? We're here. You know what? We're here. We might as well. Oh, it doesn't make it any better. Knowing what's at the end of the tunnel doesn't make it any better. Step. Because you're absolutely mad. Why would you do this with just friggin' matches? Torch is burning low. I've got enough to get through, though. Locked. It's my only way out. I won't be able to open it without my key. Let's look at the handle. The hatch handle is covered in a thick layer of dust. It hasn't been opened for at least 2 weeks. Press my ear against the keyhole. can hear a faint voice throughout the howling wind. It sounds familiar. It seems to be coming through the keyhole. Someone is calling me. Look through the keyhole. Leave. Please, wall, I need you to function. There's a thing coming for me. Lamia, you need to stop. Sorry, I've got a cat trying to jump into my lap while I'm trying to run away from this terrible monster back here! We're just gonna... I don't think I got a good look at it last time. He did do a bit of a chomp. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta do something about this cat. No, you need to stop. You're being an absolute terror. Go get them. They're all over. Go get them. They're all over. Go get them. Look, idiot. Look. My sweet, stupid cat. Okay. Well, that was a terrible adventure. I hated it. Never again. Dog. I think you guys are covering it up. There is a dog over there. Dogs are bad. Dogs are quick. And dogs like to do a bite. What is this sound? Hello? Not dog. Not dog. You stay over there, dog. Also, I don't like not knowing what time of day it is anymore. I don't want to wander too far from the house, is the thing. How many planks do I have? 4? It's awful. It is fairly accurate, though. Look, I'm not looking around me when I got a bunch of... or when I'm trying to, like, go through my stuff. No, absolutely accurate, and I hate it. I hate it for that. Let's... I'm gonna go ahead and do bandages with alcohol. Put the matches away. We'll put the 9-volt away. Nails. Boards. I need more boards, honestly. Red can stay. Lockpick can stay. Need to fill... That was a rooster. Chicken scared me. Let's put some gasoline in the generator. Holy shit! Tensera, thank you for the gift sub. That was so fucking loud. That scared me so bad.
Lol, I am sorry.
That's okay. That one didn't get me. I was ready for it. I have my headphones turned up more than I usually do for this game, so that I can hear what's happening at all times. Fucking dog! But, oof! Oof! Loud, scary game. It's okay. It's all bad sounds. All bad sounds. Thought it was getting orange for a second. Not the dog camp! I just want to find more boards. I have spoiled myself in my other save, and I have all my windows boarded up, and I have enough scrap to put chain traps outside every single window. Can't look at that. That's unfortunate. I just want more items. Hello? Not enough lumber. I don't have the means to cut the trees down. Now, if I can find the lumber, because it exists, it is a thing. I don't want to go this way. I also just want to... Where's the burned house? Is it over here? It's over here. Yeah, so there's like trees that are already chopped down somewhere. Fucking shit! God damn! Everything is so loud! Thank you for the bubble, Sarah. Let me in. Need a key. Everything is spooky. Out? The truck is here. No. Please. Get the fuck out. He would. He would. Not the saw trees. Not the saw trees. Too loud. Everything is too loud. Maybe I will turn my headphones down. This game got me on edge though, like, constantly? Like always. Corpse of some unlucky bastard who's been tied to the tree. Is that all you gotta say about it? Alright. I don't think I've come across that yet. Before, so that's spooks. Don't like that. Hello, corpse. Gas. Gasoline. This is the man with the shiny rock! This is... Sorry. This is the man that had the shiny rock! I don't think he's got a shiny rock now. He's gonna fucking attack me, though. I gotta leave. I don't have a weapon. Also, it's getting orange out! Where's my house? House! Oh no. Yeah, you can't see where you are on the map. You can kind of gauge where you are, based on, like, the things around you. It'll, like, show you up in red, so like we're at our base right now. But that shows us the general area that we're in. I don't know. I'm not having too much of an issue. Basically, yes. Constant state of loss. Lost? Accurate. I'm gonna take these. Gas can go in here for now. Rags can also go in here for right now. Flare. Bottles. Okay. Yeah, you have to be back before dark or you die. I have yet to get to the point where I die because I've been out for too long. I don't have enough to cover everything. I don't have enough for chicken nuggets. We will barricade that one. We will also put all our dang mushrooms in there. Yeah, right? I don't want to be out. I would rather not. I'm gonna switch that lamp off. It's bad sounds. Because I don't want them to see me. And I'm scared that they're gonna see me. I don't know if that's a thing. But I'm not gonna take any chances. Everything about this game is great. I'm actually gonna bring this over here too. I get a bit scared around out the night. I don't know, can you? I don't know, can you? It sounded like somebody was in here. It 100% sounded like somebody was walking around in the house. I have no weapon. I'm just trapped here. Through to the end of the night. It's gonna be great. So now we wait. Now we wait. This is only the first night, so it'll be a little eventful. But probably not terribly eventful. They get more eventful as you progress. In my other save, I'm currently dealing with people trying to break into my house constantly. Most of whom are successful in breaking in. Sounds like you during the day. Yo, meet scarier at night. What is that? It's almost morning. Devo, don't do that. No, 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 no. Hi, Devo. You're so sneaky. You got Jack the dude that told me to fuck off. Yeah. Devo. Is it almost morning now? Can it be almost morning now? Please. Light. There's 100% somebody wandering around outside. Fire is the solution to everything. I mean, I did take down an elk with a Molotov earlier. But that's sound logic. Fire being the solution to everything. I mean, we're in the woods. Light yourself on fire and you'll never be short of light. Please, I thought morning was almost here. Game. I like the watch, I really do. But this also just feels much longer than the other nights. There we go, though. There's the music I want to hear. These slowly increasing angelic sounds of morning. That was your takeaway for finishing the games? Fire solves everything? I'd believe it. Again, makes sense. Okay, are we good? Good morning! It's day 2. We've done it. We've made it through a night. Okay. Other really nice thing. First thing in the morning, as long as you don't leave your property, time is frozen for a little bit. This is usually when I do inventory management. And when when I like make sure everything is like set and put where it needs to be. Hello, Wolfman. I'll talk to you in a minute. Right though, you would never think. There's this YouTuber slash Twitch streamer that I follow named John Wolf. And he's got this catchphrase of red means scary. And usually in horror games that is true. In this case, red means it's daytime. No, I got mad at you for saying that he would probably like the meat because he is also a wolf man. That's what I got mad at you for. Thank you very much. It is not red right now, but right, like, as the sun is coming up, everything will be red. And it's delightful. Even from afar, I can smell your putrid stench. Be glad I don't have an appetite for carcasses' meat. Figure hides its face under the hood. It smells of wet soil and fur. Red means night is almost over. I know what you're after. I can help you reclaim what you've lost, if you help me attend to a certain matter. You do, what do you say, comrade? As he leans towards me, I can hear him giggling under the hood. I love Wolfman. Thus far, he's done nothing to hurt me so far. I knew it would interest you. Before we make a deal, you need to prove that you can do the job. No time for weaklings meet. You follow? Show me what you're made of. Get through to the Silent Forest. Think it's so easy. If I were you, I would prepare myself well before setting out. Be giggling to himself, 100% Travis. When you get there, you'll find me in this spot. Remember it. Wolf grabs my map and scribbles something on it. The likes of you always crawl back to me. Show him our items. You want to see this plastic chick? Beautiful item. Perfect for a church fair. Photo of the road? I thought you got there. Wolf snatches the photograph from my hand and studies it carefully. Finally, he snorts, his thick yellow spit landing on the photo. This road doesn't exist anymore. Overgrown with trees like all the others. He does hate our photo. The wolf throws the photo to the ground. Better forget about the road home meet. Around here, all the roads lead to nowhere. Give me the gossips. I'd avoid getting into trouble if I were you, meat. Or at least until you get a decent weapon. If I were you, I wouldn't venture too far from here. Unless you get bored of your lousy life, meat. Only a few returned from the dense woods, and those who made it back were not able to share their happy stories. wouldn't recommend wandering around these woods at night. It would mean certain death for you, Meat. Better hide in that hideout of yours before dark. Pray for the morning light. I'm gonna trade you some stuff, Wolfman, but I gotta grab my stuff first, Wolfman. Welcome back, Cyril. If you wish to spend some more quality time basking in the striking yet natural beauty of my features before you head off to the Silent Forest, you will find me in my camp in the Dry Meadow. Wolf points to the location on my map. Okay, stay here for a second though, Wolfman, okay? You just barged through my door. I got some bottles. And... I don't know what you're talking about. I love coffee cereal. Coffee cereal, good. What did I want? Where did the bottle go? There it is. Something else. Cyril, you've made a terrible choice. Yes, Meat. I would like... You won't take my bottles. You won't take my bottles. That's fine. Except, do I want to buy anything from you right now? Not really. Well, sir, you continue your heavy breathing there. Guess it doesn't matter until we meet our other friend. Okay, I have just enough supplies to make a board with nails. I don't think I got this until like my 3rd day when I played last, but I'm gonna take it because I can get more items if I take it with me, right? Right, so we're gonna... Devo, you gotta stop. You all gotta stop screaming at me. All the cats are screaming at me constantly. And I need them all to stop. It's true, I don't have to run away every time I see a dog now. So let's go out. It's time. We can probably do... I don't know that we can do a full day. I guess we'll find out. We'll see. We'll see. Let's go... Dog. There were those rocks. They're off this way. Let's go to the rock. Give me your meat, dog. I missed! Because I don't have my fucking upgrades yet! God damn. Wolfman's Camp's just, well... I think that's actually further away than my other playthrough. Not the mushrooms. It is kind of a straight shot, though, which is appreciated. Oh, no. You gotta run. You gotta run for him. What are these bad sounds? Hello? Dogs?
Ooh.
Nah. Good try, though. Not this time, Sarah. I also need to remember shift click. Where is the dog? I hear it barking. Where is it? Oh, thank you for the biddies, though. I do appreciate it. Fabric! Perfect. Beautiful. I don't like beating the dogs. But they do got good meat. Which, like, it says I can use to, lure carnivores away from locations and stuff. But honestly, I've only ever sold it so far. Yeah, just ignoring humans have a 120-degree field of view with the strangers. Probably not doing so hot. Yeah, he's had better days. Bear traps. It's been a rough go for him so far. Maybe he's like me, and he's just super blind. Okay. His fedora is too big. And he's got the fume vision. Between the fumes and the fedora, it's a little too much for him. Sorry. I heard squeals? Don't like it when I hear squeals. Is that all that's here? That's extremely unfortunate. Oh, okay. Well, could take care of that camp. No, I can't. I need to repair my shit. I've gotten overzealous with killing all the dogs, and I need to repair my weapon. Probably got a dog and a half left in me before it breaks. That's unfortunate. Yeah, so far, what I know of this dang game. A lot of exploration, a lot of revisiting locations. Whole lot of just being tense. A lot. Having things show up. Be a little weird. Guess what we found? Guess what we found? So many trees. Absolutely. Lots of trees. Tons of trees. Answer to everything. Burn it all. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna do it. I need more fuel, though. You know what? Torch is going away. It's basically dead anyhow. And then we'll get more scrap. I'm gonna be able to You don't like the trees, you say? You don't like the trees. I'm sorry. The trees stay. That is a dog and a half too many. You know what? Actually... Do you want the meat? They don't want the meats. Okay, well, we're gonna walk away. I'm glad that I could pick the meat back up. Guess what I can do? I mean, they do have meat already. That is true. I don't have enough dang space! All this junk! Where am I? Bottom left. Okay. I think I can remember that. I have the stuff I need to upgrade my inventory already, which is just super exciting for me. It's only 2 extra spots for the time being, but you are there. Hi! Oh, that's like not far at all. Hold on a second. Hang on a second. Let's get all this in there. There's some 6 freaking planks. So many planks. I love it. I'm gonna refill the saw. hella. We are doing okay. I didn't like that sound. I can fix the well. Perfect. Beautiful. I can heal up before nighttime. Planks for days! I'm telling ya. I'm telling ya. That saw? Good. Good saw. I really hope I got time to get over here. Is it? My board is not quite broken just yet. It is very close to it. I got a dog and a half left in me, alright? But I can... Ugh. You know what? But I want all this. I'll put the one dog meat in there. So yeah, I have to repair and upgrade all my stuff from the workbench. But it's okay. It's only the second day. First day. Second day? I don't know how they're counting it. It's still very early on. Everything is alright. I am going to put all of this gas can, please, in here. It's a day 2? Okay, cool, 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 cool. I had forgotten. I am going to put all of this gas can in here. It's fine, because we already have one gas can in storage. I got this bad boy here. So let's go fill up the generator. We'll do it now. We're gonna do a lot of like inventory management today. While I try and set everything up. Is that gonna be cool? Cool! Oopsies. Did it again. So let's... We are... Those are the remains. Okay, sorry. I thought that they had come back, which I have not seen. I haven't seen any of the mushrooms come back ever. So I'm not sure that they do. However, we'll go ahead and board up this window. And we will also board up this window. Now, I have the entirety of the bedroom to guard. It's great. It's not actually detrimental. It's a good thing. I have 5. It needs 3. Let's go ahead and do that, and then I'll save the last of those boards for our thing. For our board. Right? I need to upgrade my workshop before I can do my fucking inventory expansion. Right. Okay, well those are things for the... So bad. This is not great. Goodness gracious. Okay. Top right, things to sell. Scrap, dog meat. Dog meat can sell. I should... Do I want to do chain traps now? Probably... I'm gonna keep boards and nails in the same one. Yeah. Can we... I don't necessarily need to have this much healing stuff on me at the moment. But I'd much rather be prepared. always would prefer to be prepared. Also have to remind myself that shift click is great. There. And there. And lastly, there. Dog. Dog. Dog is too close to house. Why are you making those noises, dog? More meat to sell. Is there a thing over here? No. Anyway, this is my chain trap strat. Dog got too close to the house. I'm sorry. Also, why are there so many bear traps by my house? Too many traps. Oh. I am doing that dog murder thing again. I'm sorry. Have the dogs considered not being so dang close to my house? I do have a lockpick. Well... Have dogs considered not being aggressive? I wouldn't kill them if they were aggressive. I know we kind of showed otherwise in Ender Lilies, but I needed the dog. Travis. Is it getting kind of orange out? It's getting kind of orange out. Just a little, just a touch orange. Orange is occurring. I am going to drink from my well, since I was a little bit hurt. I'm gonna top that one off. Okay, well I got a little bit of time. Not a ton of time, but a little bit of time. I got enough time to maybe do this. And maybe put some dog meat over here. Or maybe put the scrap there and put some nails in there. Forgot that I can just do this. It'll stack. Not used to games being kind and stacking things for me. I'm gonna keep that. Okay. Okay, alright. Cutting it a little close. Closer than I would like. But that's okay. Hey, bud, I need you to not be breathing so dang hard, okay? Fucking hell! It's true. I mean, it's a staple of horror games, unfortunately. Is that the dog will die. Is there a dog in the game? It's gonna die. It's just a given. Be it by your own hand or just simply because it's your companion and therefore will meet an untimely demise. Gonna close that. Got a chain trap outside. Gonna place this back in front of the door. And turn that bad boy on. And now we wait. And this will probably be we'll stop at the start of the next day. Yeah. But this is Darkwood. It's terrifying. It's weird. I think by this time I already had my first upgrade in the other one, but I didn't have a weapon. Nor as well defended a home. So I don't think you're gonna see the scary ghosts at the moment. That's okay. It's fine. It's better this way. Yeah, I'm happy with where we're sitting at the moment. We got lots of good stuff. I'm getting more good stuff. We're doing all right. That concerns me. Honestly, sitting pretty right now makes me a little uncomfortable. I should be able to get the workshop upgrade if I boardify the logs. Yes. I wanted to keep... I'll have to double check. I'll take inventory on how many boards. Maybe we'll do a little bit of inventory management when the next morning comes, so that I don't have to think about that when we pick this up on Monday, because that's a bit of a ways away. It's a bit of a ways away, you know? Yeah, turning the generator off. Yeah. That's important too. We gotta turn the generator off. It won't be though. See, if we leave it and then we come back on Monday and I haven't turned the generator off, then I'm gonna walk away from the house thinking that the generator is off. And then it's gonna burn all day, and then I'm gonna be like so low on gas, and that's not gonna be great. Right? There's not been a single day that I have forgotten to turn it off just yet. But I'm gonna one of these days. No one's home. No one's home. No one's home. Do they... I don't think they know that I don't have a lock on my door. I'm gonna stand right here and keep this up against the door, because I had a bad instance with this at one point. But the other times that it's happened, me standing up against the door, someone just set off a trap. This one's been set off. I can hear them stepping around. Has he... Trap just broke. Has he considered not stepping in traps?
This one?
Nope. I'm expecting it now. I'm expecting him now. Good effort, though. You tried. No, at this point I'm expecting you to try and do it, and it's can't catch me when I'm prepared. I got chain traps everywhere. Your biddies can't make it past my chain traps. Unless they can. Someone is in my house. The subs are scary. They're so much louder.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul and seal your doom tonight.
That one did kind of get me. That one did kind of get me. It's just how loud they are. They're so loud.
Unacceptable!
Jesus! Y'all! It's too loud! My poor ears! My sweet, sensitive earlobes. My goodness. Okay. I forgot. Well, I'm trapped here now.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
That one was just grossly loud. My poor earballs. My poor sweet earballs. I am deaf now. Oof. Oof. Now it's gone from being scary to just loud. Goodness gracious. Okay, alright, look. Generator off. One chain trap. I told you that chain trap went off! Oh, I'm so spooked. Okay. Okay, what did I need to do? Trader. The trader is here. So... Take. I don't have enough nails! Trader, not traitor. Trader. A man roughly my size is standing before me. I can barely make out his disturbingly familiar features through the matte visor of his helmet. The massive helmet is covered with an old sack and seems to be an integral part of the unnaturally pale body. I remember him. He's the one who rescued me from the doctor's house. The man reaches out to me with his black hand. It's covered in charcoal. There's something written on his warm woolen glove. We need to stick together, brother. It's true, but I want to be able to upgrade it now. His lips are moving, but all sounds are drowned inside the helmet. He shrugs, then takes a huge sack off his back and drops it on the ground, revealing its contents. Can I show you the photo of the road? Wipes his left gloves on his pants, takes out the charcoal from his pocket and starts scribbling. When he finishes, he lifts his dirty hand. All roads lead deeper into the woods. Okay. Well... No, I don't want to give these to you. I do want that egg, though. I do want that egg. And I do want... I don't want all of those. Can I buy not all of them? Oh, yeah, sorry, I realized I'm not explaining that. So, anytime you survive a night, you get 100 reputation. There is no money, there is only reputation. Thank you, Fruity, for explaining stuff. I'm just here being like, I gotta play. Let me play the game. Okay, so we bought some nails. I am going to do the saw thing. Hella. Maybe we'll even upgrade. That would be beautiful if we can manage to get an upgrade done as well, like a proper level up. I can do the things! Give me that inventory upgrade. Give it to me now. Perfect. Beautiful. Can we upgrade? I need a metal pipe. I need a pipe. I got a big bag. Got a big bag! How much How much are you selling pipes for, bud? 60. 60. Worth it. I try and sell all, like, as much as I can to Wolfman, since he doesn't just let me have free shit. But it's worth it to have a higher durability. Am I bored with nails? Perfect. Doesn't repair it though, which is a bit of an issue, so let's just go ahead and repair it now. Cool. Good. Good. We're gonna put all of the stuff that I want to sell down at the bottom of the inventory. I'm changing how I'm organizing things. It's fine. All sellable. This needs to go back in the workshop. And we need to put the egg in the oven. Oven egg. You love to see it. I'm also going to do Eagle Eye. And we have to do it. We have to take a negative perk. Just gotta stay in dark area, or staying in dark areas can be dangerous. But I'll be able to see further. That's great. I think the other perks are being able to once a day see exactly where you are on the map. Once a day being able to heal just by standing next to a light. And the other is being able to heal yourself by eating mushrooms, I believe. Okay, I'm pretty sure it just saved, but I'm gonna... Yeah, there it goes. It has saved. We're gonna exit out of the game. So that's the start of Darkwood. That's the first, like, hour of Darkwood. Hour-ish. This will probably be our new evening game for the time being. With... What are we doing in the afternoons? World of Horror? World of Horror in the afternoons? There weren't a ton of people there this time, which is fine. That's totally acceptable. So we'll definitely do that one more time. If people aren't feeling it, though, let me know. I'm really enjoying World of Horror. But if it ends up not working out, we'll swap over to Ooblets. Or something. Or something. But we'll figure out what's going on with that. We'll do World of Horror on Friday. I've got plans for Friday evening for our indie stream, but I can't share what that is until Friday for reasons. I have to be all secretive. I am sworn to secrecy. But until then, it's gonna be great. It's not Slender. Don't get the people's hopes up. It's not Slender. Not ever. Not ever Slender. But let us figure out who we should go raid. Are we still feeling like raiding somebody who's playing, Ender Lilies? Because I'm here for that. I'm here for it. Also, there are sub messages that you can copy and paste and use for our raids. Hang on just a dang second. It's only a handful of people playing Ender Lilies right now. Let us not raid the person who's doing the final boss. If it's... I hate not raiding folks, but I'd also prefer it to be English. Okay, let's pass on Ender Lily Buddies tonight. Maybe on Friday we can raid somebody playing it, depending on who it is. I also generally just like raiding people who are LGBTQ, because we know that they're safe. Should be more safe than the other options. We can hang out with you. I was gonna say, I've got Mrs. Kiwi on doing some Left 4 Dead 2, Nimbly's doing some art, Princess Measy is doing some Outlast 2, Hugh is doing some more Tales of Arise, and Obsidian is doing some Amnesia the Dark Descent. We did just raid Chew on Monday, I believe. That's fair. That's fair. I like to spread out the raids, though, so we're not necessarily just raiding the same person over and over again. Does anybody else have suggestions or recommendations? Because if not, we can go hang out with you. Moving things around. Hold on a second. Or if we want to continue with the spooky stuff, could go hang out with Measy. I like Measy. I don't like Outlast 2. As I'm saying this. Dang. Choices. Yeah, let's go see Measy. Doesn't look like she's got a ton of folks on right now. So let's go say hi to our BFF, Princess Measy, who's an absolute delight. If you haven't raided on over to her channel with us before. Like I said, plans for Friday evening. We've also got World of Horror in the afternoon. And then back to Dark Souls on the weekend. Until then, take care of your dang selves. I love y'all. And we'll see you next time. Yeah, the cursed souls. The good cursed souls. But yeah, we'll see y'all later. Have a great rest of your night.